Jai. So happy to be with you all. Jai Rupanuga Prabhu. With us also from Australia, Jonty from New Zealand, Praneshwari from way down south, Chinmoy Dev, not sure exactly where, Govinda Nandini, way up north, and Prema Sundari, way down south, right? Yeah.
Dandavad Maharaj, finally again in your beautiful meeting. Dandavad Pranam.
Very welcome. Happy to have your beautiful selves in our meeting. The faces of the Vaishnavas, the nature of the Vaishnavas, they are our happiness to be with. So, just I expect one or two more will come and join us. In the meantime, we can just catch up a little bit from this side of the world. Yesterday evening, we went for another public program, and actually, very happy to go out again, to be able to say, oh, we're on our way to a public program, because it seems like a long time since we've been able to go physically to these things. So we were invited to a place where once every 2 weeks, they just yesterday got government permission to open up again. And once every 2 weeks, they hold a kind of, it's a very kind of loose thing, but meditation and vegetarian, they got some good cooks, this, that, and the other. So yesterday we went for a really very sweet program. And what can I say? It's happy to be back, chanting Hare Krishna, singing and dancing with the people. It was an outside evening program in a retreat between here and the farm, sort of halfway between the two places. So all the devotees, they were very enlivened by this. Some hope for the future. And the other thing is, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, really, not only us, but the public, everybody's happy. So, one thing to be chanting ourselves and in the temple, but we must remember as soon as we can to be in the public chanting Hare Krishna, engaging the public. We need Bimala here. Actually, last night, we didn't actually need her because the people joined in spontaneously. But little Bimala, she's very good at drawing the public in to dance. And she brings them in by her hand and gets them to dance. Bimala of SoCal, San Jose, California, Brazil, Italy. She's a very international Bimala. Most of us know her, I think. Welcome, Billy. Back to Billy from Virginia. All right. So devotees coming together bit by bit. And does anybody have a question first or anything they'd like to say before we sort of officially get started? Means we'll give a couple of minutes for anyone to come.
Maharaj, can I just ask a quick question? Who
Of
composed
course.
the Saraswat style manual?
Say again?
Who composed the Saraswat style manual?
Tyagi Maharaj and Mahananda. You got any question for Mahananda?
No, I just, it's a beautiful work that I use all the time. So
the thing is, as you saw, Tyagi Maharaj, he started to get involved in transcriptions and publishing, etc. Then he's asking, again and again, okay, what is the standard for this? What is the standard for this? And it became clear we actually need to write a standard. And especially some of these standards of the C and the CH, etc., they're directly from Srila Gurudev himself. So we shouldn't not know them. And when we do know them, we should not ignore them, of course. I've been right there when Gurudev has been discussing these things, deciding these things. And then, other things along the way about the grammar, etc., that just has to somehow, came up along the way. So we try to get some continuity. But yes, I refer to that style manual and we made it together, and it is good to do. Hare Krishna. All right, so we're 5 minutes in, and actually I have two clocks. One says 5 and one says 6. Okay, they're both meant to be on internet time. Maybe the internet is not as perfect as we thought. all devotees, vanchakalpa tarubhyascha, kripa sindubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. You've come from far away to join together here today. And so here we are after our travels, put our shoes outside, taken off our hat and coat, put them there. Now we've come in, met with each other. And first thing will be Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravrajagacharya Astatara Sarashi Shrimad. Wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravrajagacharya Astatara Sarashi Shrimad. Wonderful Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And to our Sri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga Ki Jai. Of course to Sri Panchatattva Ki Jai. If Mahaprabhu had not come, where would we be? If Srila Saraswati, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had not come, where would we be? If Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had not come, where would we be? We would be just like people floating about, catching part of an elephant, touching part of an elephant and thinking that an elephant is a wall, is a rope, is a spear, is a tree, whatever else, a fan, one part called the ear of the elephant. But what is being given by the ancient scriptures in its maturity, being presented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Rupa Goswami, because Mahaprabhu gave this responsibility to Rupa Goswami, his Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu's Sampradaya, he's given to Rupa Goswami and then to our present day. And today is, oh yes, you're yesterday. Okay, you are yesterday, but here today is the disappearance day of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. So that's coming up for you tomorrow, except for Jonti and Rupanuga Prabhu. Today is that day. How the world is flat or round or hexagonal or any other shape, that we leave to those who want to know about it. But the fact is that it is tomorrow here and yesterday there. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's plenty on the web of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and in the books and the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, etc. There's so much about both these personalities. So we are very much, it's not a matter of even being indebted. It's like without Bhaktivinoda Thakur, without Srila Saraswati Thakur, without our guardians, then all of us, we would be actually just floating around like some of the people we met yesterday. Some good intention, some searching, but without anything to actually focus us in onto what is the actual conclusion of all this. Almost like the difference between children playing with a plastic tea set and grown-ups with a real tea set and making the real thing, as it were. Not that the devotees will be drinking tea necessarily. Maybe they're drinking garam jal, but not tea. However we express it. Anyhow, without the proper guidance, then we will still be kind of floating around in the ocean without a proper rudder. So anyway, gratitude to our masters. We are starting off this way. Gratitude to our masters. This is very essential. And in the morning, one of the traditional songs that are sung in Chaitanya Saraswat would be Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning about the 6 limbs of surrender, the 6 things which are favorable, the 6 things which are unfavorable. But today we will touch on the 6 limbs of surrender because we want to take things one step at a time. And Guru Maharaj gave so much importance to 6 limbs of surrender, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose disappearance is today and tomorrow, basically, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he composed Śaraṇāgatī, which are 50 songs about surrender. And Śaraṇāgatī means surrender. Śaraṇāgatī as Guru Maharaj points out, is like the beginning, starting from, I'm coming without my ego. I'm coming only to be told what to do. I have faith that from above, everything will be decided for me properly. I don't have to make my own decisions. So, Śaraṇāgatī, when Srila Guru Maharaj came out from the Gaudiya mat, means many fighting about buildings, about money, about the chair, whatever you like to say. This happened in Gaudiya mat, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission. And Guru Maharaj, he tried to harmonize everything as much as he could. When he saw that it is not fruitful or it has gone out of any kind of way that he can influence into a good way, Srila Guru Maharaj, just in a gentleman's way, withdrew from the Gaudiya mat, and he came to a cottage on the banks of the Ganges. And I did not know where that was. We heard about this cottage, and we heard that Guru Maharaj came secretly. I mean, secretly means hiddenly. So without any fanfare, without telling people where he's going, Guru Maharaj humbly, he left from Gaudiya mat, and he went to a cottage on the banks of the Ganges in Navadvip. And there he reflected upon why he came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, why he joined into the Gaudiya mat, why he's taken this direction, major direction of change of life. And then during this time, Srila Guru Maharaj, he composed, or he compiled and composed, because he compiled, structured, and then composed his verses of Sri Sri Prapanna Jivanamritam, life nectar of the surrendered souls. And we've sat with Guru Maharaj when he's talked about how he came to write Prapanna Jivanamritam. And I think in one of the sermons books, perhaps, there is some history, like from Guru Maharaj's own mouth, about how he found himself in an unexpected position after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disappearance. An unexpected position where he wanted to reflect himself on Śaraṇāgatī, the value of Śaraṇāgatī. What is Śaraṇāgatī? Like, take a deeper view, if you like. And he told that really seeing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's emphasis on Śaraṇāgatī, and not only emphasis on, but composing 50 songs about Śaraṇāgatī, and given that book title, one word, Śaraṇāgatī, then Guru Maharaj, focusing on that very basis of devotional life, then he composed the Prapanna Jivanamritam, as Guru Maharaj very humbly said, for my own reflection and for my own clarity of the line of Śaraṇāgatī, the whole principle of Śaraṇāgatī, and to benefit others who in the future may come to find themselves in similar situation, or in other words, to benefit others in the future, whether they find themselves in that situation or not. So Guru Maharaj, with like a twofold purpose, he is in his humility saying for his own reflection and clarification, if you like, about Śaraṇāgatī, as well as for the benefit of others. So we have a beautiful book called Śaraṇāgatī. Yes, we do. We have a beautiful book called Śaraṇāgatī by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we have a beautiful book called Sri Sri Prapanna Jivanamritam, the life nectar of the surrendered souls. And both of these books, they are fully complementary, of course. Everything that Guru Maharaj will do will be to give support to what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Śaraṇāgatī, and then Guru Maharaj giving the Prapanna Jivanamritam. Now, the very first chapter of Prapanna Jivanamritam, it is the introduction, it's setting the scene. I think it's in translation form, it's called Prelude to Tasting Nectar. And Guru Maharaj is describing the absolute necessity of Śaraṇāgatī, etc. And then explaining about what's going to come in the chapters ahead. And in those chapters ahead, one by one, Guru Maharaj is taking each of the 6 limbs of Śaraṇāgatī and explaining that limb of Śaraṇāgatī from like the beginning, step by step, and as Guru Maharaj does, drawing out finer and finer understanding of each of those limbs of surrender. So we are trying to do the basics the basics of our devotional life. And the basics of our devotional life are really, they're not just something that is learnt in, like you could say, kindergarten or the first days of coming. It is the always basis. Otherwise, how is it that Guru Maharaj is coming to this and for he's saying his own reflection to this basis of Śaraṇāgatī, after so much preaching, so much activity, so much association with Srila Saraswati Thakur, so many hearing, he is hearing from Srila Saraswati Thakur, he is giving unlimited numbers of lectures to others presenting Srila Saraswati Thakur's distribution. He's sharing with his godbrothers, with Guru Maharaj's godbrothers, clarification of the lectures that Srila Saraswati Thakur gave. Guru Maharaj, this Guru Maharaj who had like a life of Śaraṇāgatī and devotional service, he, after all these years, then brings the nectar, life nectar of the surrendered souls, and with the subtitle of the title in English, positive and progressive immortality. So, Śaraṇāgatī, and it is a wonderful thing, the very essence of our life. And I mean, if we could, or we should ourselves read again Prapana Jivanamrita. And I read it very recently. Again, we have read it since its first printing in a form which became superseded. It was printed first in India, but without the substance, as Srila Govinda Maharaj said, without the substance of what is presented of Śaraṇāgatī, means Guru Maharaj's connecting commentaries, introductions to the verses. It was printed in India under the title of Ambrosia, had a big title. Some of you have seen that book probably. But when it was printed, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev disapproved. And Guru is saying the very like the substance of the book. Okay, it's wonderful because it's a collection, even without Guru Maharaj's introduction to the verses. It's a collection of wonderful slokas about the theme of Śaraṇāgatī. But Gurudev and Guru Maharaj were disappointed when it first came out because the devotee who did it, maybe not so expert in translating, but was able to get the translations of the verses by seeing Srila Prabhupada's books, etc., but was not able to translate the introduction to the verses given by Guru Maharaj. But Guru Maharaj is showing like the link, step by step of the progressive understanding of the limbs of surrender. So really, it's a wonderful study book. And Shripad Siddhanti Maharaj, Srila Saraswati Thakur's disciple, Guru Maharaj's godbrother, not referring to our dear Siddhanti Maharaj Chidananda Prabhu, but his namesake, original Siddhanti Maharaj. He was the secretary of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He was his secretary. And he, after the disappearance of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and when Guru Maharaj published Prapana Jivanamrita, he used to, like religiously, religious person, read Bhagavad Gita every day. And then when Prapana Jivanamritam came, he was so happy, and he then read Prapana Jivanamritam every day, perhaps for the rest of his life. So A wonderful book. And the first chapter is giving us really a very good trailer. If ever you watch movies, which I know none of you do, but in the distant past, when you would watch a movie, you see a trailer and then oh, I must watch this movie. It is such a good trailer. And so chapter 1 really is a wonderful trailer. And then chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Must be 7 chapters, I suppose. They are the chapters of the 6 limbs of surrender. So this is a little introduction. Why are we learning? Why are we trying to learn? Or why are we going over the 6 limbs of surrender? Because it's very good for us. So we are trying to do things which are very good for us. What else can we say? And for those of you who joined us just now, which means Bharat Chandra Prabhu, who else joined us just now? Dayavati Didi from Mexico joined us just now. And then we already did some key jais, and we already gave our obeisances in Sanskrit, but our obeisances to you both for joining us in English too. Dandavat. Or English and Sanskrit. Now we think Dandavat is English, don't we? But it's actually Dandavat Pranam. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you do see Dandavat just by itself. So that usage was there at that time. Okay, 6 limbs of surrender. Can anybody? Oh no, we shouldn't ask first. Look, Chinmoy Devu, he's done his homework because we did mention last time that we'll cover the 6 limbs of surrender. So Chinmoy Dev is ready at the starting line as the horses are about to go down the track. And he's ready, he's got the 6 limbs of surrender in his mind. Am I being bitten by mosquitoes or is it imagination? I have the door open here for some air. I have the door open for some air, but it is still not yet morning, well, not yet light, and some mosquitoes are around. Okay, 6 limbs of surrender. And in the first chapter of Prapana Jivanamritam, then chapters Guru Maharaj saying in verse 25 of chapter 1, chapters 3 to 8 inclusive are entitled Sri Bhakta Vachanamritam, words of nectar from the devotees. Bhakta Vachana Amritam, the nectar of the words of the devotees. Sri Bhakta Vachanamritam. Beautifully expressed by the lotus lips of the pure devotees of the Lord, many stanzas describing the 6 limbs of exclusive surrender are quoted therein. And then comes Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulya Vivajanam Rakshashyatiti Vishvaso Goptrite Varanam Tata Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Shad Bidha Śaraṇāgatī Evam Paryayatash Chasmin Chai. No, sorry, not Chaika, it's Eka, I think. Spectacles. Ekaika Dhyaya Sangraha. And actually, as I pick up my spectacles, then at the very beginning, Chinmoy Devu asked about the book, Style Manual, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math Style Manual. And in there, it also is expressing something directly from Guru Maharaj. Well, many things directly from Srila Gurudev. The Gurudev did not like italics for the verses. And we've been accustomed to that from reading Srila Prabhupada's books from day one. But you see, in this case, I had to resort to my spectacles to see the fine italics, to see whether it is CH or EK. And Gurudev, he wanted that the slokas will be clear. And so, in fact, he wanted Roman, bold. So you see in later publications, this Prapana Jivanamritam was printed during the time of Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. But in the later publications, you will find, yes, for a little time, still like this, but once Gurudev made his wish known, then the shlokas became Roman bold, which makes it easier to see. So just, that's like a sub-comment relevant to what we were discussing a little earlier. All right, so anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulya vivajanam rakshishyati vishvasho goptrite varanam tata. So these 6 chapters have been compiled, each consecutively dealing with the 6 limbs of surrender, which are as follows. And I know Chinmoy Prabhu knows. 1, and actually it's very easy, they're not difficult to remember. 1, accepting the favorable, accepting everything favorable for devotion to Krishna. Number 2, guess what? Rejecting everything unfavorable for devotion to Krishna. 3, to be confident that Krishna will grant his protection. 4, to embrace Krishna's guardianship. 5, to offer oneself unto him. And 6, to consider oneself lowly and bereft, humble, this way. And this is the order that Guru Maharaj has chosen to give the 6 limbs of surrendering. And this is the order that's given in the Puranas. And actually, this is the order of the principal limb of surrender of each of the 9 islands of Navadip, because each has a particular strength, a particular embodiment, I don't know quite what the word is, speciality, you can say. But we know that these limbs of surrender are given in a different order in different places. But we'll go through this way because Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Srila Maharaj has chosen to use this order for the structure of his Prapana Jivanamritam. So we happily will understand in this way. So our homework, our learning, our revision, whatever it may be this week, is to capture these 6 limbs of surrender and try to keep them with us, because it is not difficult, at least to remember, the principle behind it, and therefore the title. Accepting the favorable. 2, rejecting the unfavorable. To be confident in the Lord's protection. Then with confidence, then you can embrace his guardianship. You can't, how can you properly embrace guardianship if you're not confident that they can protect you? You're slipping down a slope and somebody extends their hand, then you're going to take that hand, and when you see it is a strong, muscular person, they're tied up, they're holding firmly a tree with one arm, and they're going to pull you with the other arm. Oh, I can now offer myself. I can now happily embrace the guardianship of that person. We are protected. So number 3 is confident in the Lord's protection. Number 4, embracing the Lord's guardianship. And then number 5, not only guardianship, what can I do for you? Offering myself entirely at your disposal. And number 6, in the order given here, is feeling oneself lowly and bereft. Humility. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're kind of linked that way. Accepting, 1, 2. Accepting the favorable, rejecting the unfavorable. Then 3, 4, 5. Confidence in the Lord's protection. Embracing the Lord's guardianship. Then 5, full self-surrender. And then number 6, feeling oneself lowly and bereft. Understanding that our own capacity, we cannot do anything practically. We can dream, we can be dreamers, but to actually go to our destination, to actually have anything of any value. That is the grace from above to us. We must see it's not our right. Anything can be withdrawn at any time. So not ever to enter into the realm of pride and ego and I am the doer, etc. Bhagavad Gita, our friend, the Bhagavad Gita that we stressed in previous meetings like this. Meetings, what's the word? I'm not sure. But our previous get-togethers, the stress of Bhagavad Gita, of Gurudev, telling us how everything in Bhagavad Gita is important to the devotee. Once he understands it's all related to coming to surrender to Krishna, put Krishna at the center. So, a mountain of ego, we are not the doer, all these things, all of this by coming to the Śaraṇāgatī and practicing Śaraṇāgatī will make us more fit to be a good receiver of the grace of our gurus, that we can blast away the mountain of ego, that we can make ourselves a recipient for the Lord's mercy. We are at their mercy at all times, and at whose mercy? Vaishnava, Guru Vaishnava, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And then ultimately, Mahaprabhu is ultimately, and Krishna is ultimately. The Lord in his manifestations brings everything to us. Krishna can do anything, yes or no? No, yes. Okay, Krishna can do anything. And Krishna is most merciful, yes or no? Oh, I am being eaten by mosquitoes. Oh, Krishna, you're so merciful. I'm being eaten by mosquitoes. I'm not my body, I'm not my body. Okay. Krishna is most merciful, yes. Yes, okay. So Krishna can do anything and Krishna is most merciful. So that gives us hope, does it not? And our hope lies in following the directions, following in the footsteps of the great souls. And guess where this comes in? The 6 favorable things of devotional service, following the example of the great acharyas. So they have given us in our very recent time, as well as in the ancient time, from the Puranas. Purana means ancient. From the Puranas it is given about these 6 limbs of surrender. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has pointed these out and written a book with this name, Śaraṇāgatī. And Guru Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, developing on that, focusing on that surrender, giving us Prapana Jivanamrita. So, 6 limbs of surrender, and in a very simple way, just written with the key words, we have on the web, I just have to find it. Actually, it's on scsmat.org. I'm going to type it into scsmath.org/BBBC. And I think, click. Okay, so there, this, I should update this for our classes, but this is from history, some things we did earlier. You see, if you just go to first class summary, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2nd, there says 6 limbs of surrender. Just click on that or download that file.
It didn't show up on the chat. Did anybody see that in the chat?
Because I didn't put it there, I was experimenting, I think. Okay, here it comes. I'll put it into the chat. Chat. I'll chat away to myself in the meantime. To everybody, click. That is the index page, but the actual page, you can see. So in 2nd download of you, here is the actual 6 limbs of surrender. But remember, just because it's on your computer doesn't mean it is in your head. And just because it's in your head doesn't mean it's in your heart. And just because it's in your heart doesn't mean it's in your practices. So our computer is is our via medium to try to get all these things into our head, into our heart, into our practices. So 6 limbs of surrender with key words: accepting, rejecting, confident or confidence, or being confident, okay, confident, embracing, maybe guardianship would have been a better choice. You can choose your own key word. Anyway, embracing, it's so short, it's only 3 words anyway. Embracing Krishna's guardianship. Then 5, full self-surrender. And somebody had the bright idea to write 1 word. So I think embracing Krishna's guardianship is 1 word too. Okay, and then lowly, humble, feeling oneself lowly and humble. So this is our mission this week, to make these things in our heart. And another thing is linked with that and which we will come to, because in Prapana Jivanamritam, then the verses of Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam, I believe every one of the 11 verses, I think we can go through and check if anyone isn't there, but I think every one of those 11 verses of Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam is quoted within this book of Sri Prapana Jivanamritam. So again, that gives us a clue of how important is Upadeshamritam, which is going to be like in future, back to basics, if you like. But this is automatically, the theme of Upadeshamritam is automatically coming up while we are going through these 6 limbs of surrender in Prapana Jivanamritam. So first, accepting the favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, confidence in the Lord's protection, embracing the Lord's guardianship, full self-surrender, and feeling oneself humble, lowly, bereft, our actual position. These 6 items are for our homework, and Sri Prapana Jivanamritam is for our increased understanding of each of these limbs as given by Guru Maharaj. Now, one thing we can do is so Guru Maharaj, in his first chapter of Prapana Jivanamritam, just a couple of verses later, then, or maybe 3 verses later, Guru Maharaj is saying, because this first chapter, remember, these are Guru Maharaj's, his own, if you like, writing, his own foreword, but because Guru Maharaj is Guru Maharaj, he's able to write his foreword in Sanskrit verse. And so on text 30 there, saying, prior to each stanza quoted, an aphorism illuminating its inner purport has been carefully entered according to my best insight. And this is Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj's best insight, we all know and have come to appreciate through Srila Gurudev in particular, through Srila Govinda Maharaj, illustrating how Guru Maharaj's insight, it is incomparable. And so the aphorisms before the verses are very important for us. And we know this too from Srila Gurudev, from Srila Govinda Maharaj. And this is again another key point, that we are knowing about Guru Maharaj, we are understanding about Guru Maharaj through the devotees, through the Vaishnavas. We always need the Vaishnavas at every step. So Guru Maharaj is told that he's giving an aphorism, and then we can read just 1 or 2 more verses. Next verse, being revealed by the Lord himself, adopting the heart of a devotee, the stanzas of pure nectar emanating from the moon of Sri Gaura Chandra have been entered along with the stanzas of the devotees. So at this point, he's explaining about the content of the chapters. So he's including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, Gaura Chandra's stanzas, verses. He's including his verses because he's in the mood of a devotee, along with the words of nectar from the devotees, the Bhakta Vachana Amrita. Bhakta Vachana Amrita. 32. Many expressions of exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhakti, have been recorded herein, since exclusive devotion is most intimately related to surrender. Actually, words of nectar from the Supreme Lord, words of nectar from the devotees, and the nectar of scriptural word. So word of nectar of the Supreme Lord, words of nectar from the devotees, and the nectar of scriptural word are all seen to be interrelated. Still, they have been portrayed separately due to their individual importance. All right, and just 3 more verses maybe. I'm just reading directly the translations in the introduction to Prapana Jivanamritam, because who better to introduce Śaraṇāgatī than Guru Maharaj? So then, the unique characteristic of each chapter will be accordingly expressed therein. The unique characteristic of each chapter will be accordingly expressed therein. And remember, these chapters that are about to come up are these 6 limbs of surrender, one by one. Now, in this respect, we may have some general deliberation in the line of the great devotees of the Lord. And now the next verse is, and Guru Maharaj gives an introduction to his own verse. He says, Vastu Nirnayaha, the theme of the work. Now, if I just give the first 2 words, Bhagavat Bhaktita, how many of you can put up your hand and say, yes, I know the rest of this verse? Bhagavat Bhaktita. Yes, thank you, Govinda Nandini, for saving my day. If no one knows it, I want to retire from trying to be a teacher, a teacher of anything. Bhagavat Bhaktita Sarvam Ityutsrijya Vidhe Api Kainkaryam Krishna Padaika Shrayatvam Śaraṇāgatī. And I'm pretty sure we covered this in one of our very first back to basics of this series, as well as other series, whatever the correct English is that we've done. I'll check the style manual, whether it's series or series ends. No, anyhow. Bhagavat Bhaktita Sarvam Ityutsrijya Vidhe Api Kainkaryam Krishna Padaika Shrayatvam Śaraṇāgatī. This is the verse, Guru Maharaj's composition, that Gurudev glorifies so much. And it is in glorification of Śaraṇāgatī. And the translation, so Guru Maharaj introduced his own sloka, saying Vastu Nirnayaha, the theme of the work. So this is the theme of the book. And it is a verse that Guru Maharaj gives so much glorification to. So the translation here, being governed by the faith that all success is achieved by serving the Supreme Lord, to abandon servitude to even scriptural injunctions and take exclusive refuge in the lotus feet of Sri Krishna in every time, place and circumstance is known as Śaraṇāgatī, unconditional surrender. All right, we can revise that in due course of time. But then the next verse, we're also going to, actually the next 2 verses, because we can't stop there, can we? We're also going to read. So text 36, translation. These are Guru Maharaj's verses. Some consider Śaraṇāgatī to be that God consciousness, which is realization of the one non-differentiated nature in all beings and objects by seeing the Supreme Lord as the indwelling super soul of everything. So some consider Śaraṇāgatī like this. However, such a conception falls within the category of calculative devotion, jnana bhakti. It is not in the line of unadulterated pure devotion, shuddha bhakti. And then the next verse, by scriptural reference, the learned know of the eternality of surrender to the Lord, since the futility of human life without that surrender is elucidated therein. In this way, the eternal constitution of surrender is established. Everything else, it is within the temporary plane. And even Guru Maharaj says, those who succeed by jnana, by pushing out the this is not, by analysis, I'm not the body, and becoming very pure in their consciousness, like samadhi, what we generally think of in the Buddhist world as samadhi. But that plane is not eternal, because the jiva is active by nature. And once, whatever will be the cause, the spark to start his intention to do something, then he's got then a choice of two things to do with his energy. Either surrender and serve, or surrender to one's own ego or to Maya and try to exploit. So you've got only two things to do. Guru Maharaj has clearly pointed this out in other places. We have three things we can do with our energy. The middle point is the retirement. I go on strike. Where we are in the world is the exploitation, where we are seeing things in relation to my enjoyment, my accumulation, my ego, etc. Whether me, family, village, region, country, planet, etc., etc. So the exploitation plane is where we are. The renunciation plane, they're going into some kind of non-differentiated plane. But that is also temporary. The permanent plane is the plane of devotion. Śaraṇāgatī, surrendering to Krishna, and we come to understand how to surrender to Krishna through the Vaishnavas and Guru. So, eternality, the eternal plane, is based on Śaraṇāgatī, that I am not the master, I am small, and I need to take shelter of the Lord. I need to have faith. I need to have faith in something I cannot prove by mechanical, physical science, but that can be proved and is proved by the life of the great saints. And their proof is their own life. Guru Maharaj says the great saints stand as the guarantee of the reality of the plane of surrender. And the guarantee is also, if you do it, you will find out. And so you yourself will be the guarantee and show, yes, I am doing what the great saints are saying. And now we are understanding that this is really the valuable thing. And everything in the world, even the greatest kingdom, the greatest wealth and everything else, is just, as Dhruva Maharaj said after doing great penances and seeing Krishna, he said, I was searching for broken glass, and now by some good fortune, I have the real gem and jewel. I have got your darshan, Sri Krishna. So let us learn from the past, let us learn from the experts. We are in the school. Guru Maharaj said we are in the same classroom as Lord Brahma in our understanding of spiritual life. So we have come to such a classroom.
Rosen.
Can you
hear us, Maharaj?
I don't know, he's frozen.
Yeah, he got disconnected.
Hopefully he'll come back. Govinda Nandini got disconnected too. Just watch him. Oh yeah. Oh, here he's back.
I don't know what happened there, but things do happen.
Welcome back.
I'm back. You're all still there, and I disappeared. Sorry about that. So anyway, the first of the 6 limbs of surrender, accepting the favorable. We are being given the advice of what to do, how to accept. But I think today, let us stay with capturing, making our routine, the 6 limbs of surrender. We'll try to go over them day by day and just simply put these 6 categories in our head. Accepting the favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, confidence in the Lord's protection, accepting the Lord's guardianship, full self-surrender, and feeling oneself low and bereft. And if you like, you can learn the Sanskrit, but what we are wanting is really, okay, Sanskrit is very good, but we don't want to get too caught up on trying to learn like special words, in the sense of we want to get caught up in the whole spirit of the message, of the importance of these 6 limbs of surrender, emphasized to us by all of our guardians, and in the recent age, headed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who wrote Śaraṇāgatī, his disappearance day today. And so almost we can say in honor of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose disappearance day is today. And in honor of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we can think, okay, today he gave so much energy, they all gave so much energy for us that we will take to these practices. So let us try to honor that and put into practice, first of all, the remembrance of the 6 limbs of surrender. And then we'll go through bit by bit in the coming weeks. And in the meantime, you all have access to Prapanna Jivanamritam. So feel free to read it every day from beginning to end, All right. Sorry, how is it the time goes by so fast? We started at exactly 5 o'clock, or mine 5 o'clock, exactly on the hour, and it's now 54 minutes gone by. You see, the imperceptible speed of time, by the hours, by the days, by the weeks, by the months, by the years, some of us know that, and by the lifetimes. So let us use our moments carefully, not to lose our moments, but to use our moments. Okay, I've been speaking too much. You're all with us, and really we're so happy to have Jivana with us today, our new entry, valuable entry, who is also a storehouse of pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, and of the Vaishnavas and of our generation. Jivana is with us, and we'd love to have actually a whole Zoom class with Jivana telling us stories. Jivana, tell us something today to make our day successful, to help make our day successful.
Already so successful, because we got to have your darshan and the darshan of all the devotees that called in. It's just wonderful, and that's life-giving. And if we can remember these limbs of surrender and keep up with Prapanna Jivanamrita, that will be beautiful.
And how to surrender Jivana? Give us one tip.
Well, one tip is to think of what's favorable. So we might have wanted to watch Netflix or something, like you said, in the past, may have watched a movie, and instead we have this opportunity to associate with the devotees and listen to something wonderful. So that's definitely accepting something favorable, and at the same time rejecting something that's not so favorable, meaning some movie that just kind of addles your brain.
Okay, some very good advice. And we may read it, but when we hear it from the devotees, it has extra value. We are grateful, Jivana. And in your life, Jivana, can you think of some part of your life where you thought, oh, I got a little understanding. Maybe I got a little understanding. What is the Prapanna Jivanamritam? What is the nectar in the life of the surrendered soul?
Wow, Maharaj. Wow. Well, I would say that if we can somehow really understand how Krishna is really everything, and he declares it so boldly in the Bhagavad Gita that it's almost like it just comes right out and says, hey, I'm Krishna, I'm everything. But it's just so funny how being in the material world, we can be covered so quickly that we can so easily just let that gloss by us. So you have to have this kind of association as much as possible to not, like as many people say, and I've heard you say it also, not to take things for granted. It's a very short lifetime, really. And it's the most valuable lifetime. I'm always thinking, Maharaj, that if I was given the opportunity to go to a heavenly planet, I'm sure I would take it. And it's just a terrible waste. Then you lose like thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and still we come back here where we are right at this moment. So to be able to utilize this time now is super valuable and super sumetasa, spiritual intelligence.
And Jivana, where you are living now, and where Bharachandra Prabhu and Chinmoy, those of you who are living in California now, you know, and we definitely know, in India, then California is practically the heaven which may be attainable on this earth. That is their conception of California. If you say, I'm from Silicon Valley, I'm from SoCal or Santa Cruz, they know Santa Cruz, California, but California they know. So you are living in one kind of heaven, Jivana. So from heaven you are giving us this advice.
Yeah, there's still birth, death, disease, and old age here, as we very well know.
Really?
Really.
But we are in the positive line. We are accepting that and addressing the issue. And Guru Maharaj, he told, it's in one of, I think in one of the sermons books perhaps. Anyhow, in one of the published books for sure, Guru Maharaj, he's saying about the scientists. They're trying to find a solution to the problems. They're trying to solve all of this. But Guru Maharaj saying more or less, that, oh, they're doing a very bad job about it. So just leave this field and leave it to us, because we are connected with the experts in this field to solve this problem that we're living in a land of birth and death. I thought that was very, like a very practical thing of Guru Maharaj to say.
Yes.
You leave this field. Stop trying to say you know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing at all. You're just playing around and misleading everybody. And you used an expression just now, like rattled the brain or something. They're doing that to everybody. With false promises of joy, fulfillment, eternality.
Like children playing in a play box. Like what you said, the little plastic tea set and the little mud pies, thinking that they're real. And it's just not.
Children playing in the play box in the public park. And some of those mud pies are what the dogs left behind. I'm being polite. I think, no, I'm not. I'm not very polite. Okay, would anybody like to say anything from any corner of my screen or any middle of my screen? No hands come up.
What?
I heard a squeak. Oh, must be Jivana squeaking. She's the only one with the microphone on.
I said what?
Oh, you said what?
Somebody else must have something.
They all have treasures, but we haven't approached them properly. We have to follow the example of Lakshman going to Ravana. We have to come to the lotus feet. But you see in the video, we can only see your heads. We can't see your feet. We have to come to the feet of the Vaishnavas.
Speaking of treasure, I actually found a great deal of treasure today.
Oh, yes.
I've been moving and going through all of the packages of things that I haven't looked at in many years. And I found many tapes that are labeled Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj. VHS, so I'm hoping someone around not too far from me has a way to digitize these. Okay, I'll be in touch.
We've got two volunteers. Oh, Prema Sundari, are you volunteering or you want to say something? Unmute yourself. Click. Oh, we're not there. Okay, and Bharat Chandrabu, do you know who has recorded those VHS tapes? Are they from your dad?
I don't think some of these are from Ravatinath, and some of these may be from my parents at various times. They're all in one container.
Okay. There are many treasures still to be revealed of Guru Maharaj's teachings and Gurudev's teachings.
I only hope these tapes are still readable.
One way or another, we've got our experienced team right there. You don't even have to take them very far or go very far. Very good Chinmoy Dev Prabhu and team. Chinmoy Dev Prabhu and team. All right, so while we've been speaking, you may have noticed that the background here has changed from black to white. Oh, black and white. No, black to green. From black to green. Day has come, and now they are preparing just now as we are speaking. The servitors are coming backwards and forwards, getting ready. On this side of the world, we're about to have Mangalati. On your side of the world, probably having Sandhya Arati soon. I don't remember what time it is with you. We get a bit lost with the time. But evening with you, here is morning. Here is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day, Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day. And so we'll be having various Harikatha here on this side of the world, no doubt, and audios, compositions, Guru Maharaj's composition on the disappearance of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which drew so much attention, so much mercy from Srila Saraswati Thakur. This all over the world, ourselves and yourselves tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be reading that, many things to reference to. And our family is the family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in fact. If we look at our recent age, of course, we're the Rupanuga Sampradaya, we are the Gauriya Vaishnavas, we are, take it further back, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. But in our recent time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the head of the family, the beginning of our recent, all over the world, consciousness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, and of Radha and Krishna. If we were to have a big mansion somewhere, the British, they have their stately homes and they have these big portraits on the wall in their stately homes. So if we were in a British stately home of our family, the grand picture would be Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then we've got a Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He gave us Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This way we'd have, these grand portraits on the wall in the stately home. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's the originator, if you like, of our whole worldwide Krishna conscious family. And he has given us Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has given us, on today's theme, Śaraṇāgatī, and so many books, so many songs, so much guidance in our life of surrender, our life of devotional service, devotion and surrender, intimately connected, as we read from Guru Maharaj this morning. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, special day, Gadadhar Pandit, of course, special days. So these are days coming up for you and for us. They are with us already, and we will participate now in the program. All right, dear devotees, so make a note of those 6 limbs of surrender. Choose your own keywords if you like, but it's not really so difficult and quite logical to get them in the right order too. Accepting the favorable, rejecting the unfavorable. Confidence in the Lord's protection. Then you can accept his guardianship, and then more than guardianship, you can full self-surrender. What now? What do you want me to do? I owe everything to you. I am yours. It's a natural relationship, and feeling ourselves humble and bereft. All right, dear Vaishnavas, Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, dear Gurudev ki Jai, and Jai, dear Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Srila Gadadhar Pandit ki Jai, Sri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, and all the worldwide Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda, unlimited devotees ki Jai. Nitai Gaur
Bhaktivinoda Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai!
Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. My pranam to you all until next time. To be continued. And every moment let us have Śaraṇāgatī. Rupanuga Prabhu, good to see you. Good to see you looking well there in UK, Australia. You can see the faces of so many devotees of our family. These are all our family devotees with us.
Yep.
Dandavat, Dandavat. I'm leaving. You can stay together if you need anything to be together forever. You don't ever have to leave. But I have to leave. Excuse me.